Barcelona have stormed into the Bernabeu and beaten Real Madrid 1-0 in the Copa del Rey first leg. G, as a Real Madrid fan, what is your take on this match?
Real Madrid just gifted Barcelona the biggest gift they'll ever have in their club's history today. Look, Real Madrid did not play good by any means or any stretch of the imagination, but I think it was very unlucky that they lost this game 1-0. I think at the worst it should have been a draw because the one chance Barcelona got came off a horrible mistake off of Camavinga and an own goal off of Militao. The two best players on the pitch for Barcelona were in white. They were Camavinga and Eder Militao off a great save of Thibaut Courtois and a pretty decent shot by Kessie, but it was all around. That has to get cleared. That does not go in. That cannot go in. When you're playing for Real Madrid, that can't happen. And this has led me to question some of the players within the club. Look, I don't know if Camavinga is good enough anymore. I don't know. I've always thought Militao's never been really that good, and I don't know how people really back him. I just think Real Madrid do a good job of hiding him. But overall, I think Barcelona didn't really impress me. There's not a lot of things they did where it's like, wow, I think this team's unbeatable. It's just more of what we did not do. There's a lot of things we didn't do. They did a good job of shutting down Vinny, but there's a lot of things that were building up. The build-up play looked all right. It's just they could not finish. They couldn't find that shot. And look, this was a bad first leg, but there is a second leg, and I'm not going to fully throw in the towel and say it's over because, like I say, there is one team you don't bet against. And we've gone into so many second legs where we've been down, and it just looked like we've lost. But look, they somehow find a way, and I'm still going to back them to do that. Today was a bad performance. I'll give them that. Barcelona are good. You take your wins and you get them. You're injured. You're banged up. You got to win. You take that. You go home. And now they got to defend in the camp now, and I think we can get a result there.
You know, I am in complete and utter disbelief about this result. You know, obviously I wanted Barcelona to win this match, but I think when everyone saw the Barcelona team sheet, even Barcelona fans said there's no way we can win this match. There's no way, right? There's literally no way. And somehow Xavi and Barcelona pull the rabbit out of the hat and they somehow get this win. You said you were not impressed by Barcelona. And I'm not surprised by this. I don't think anyone was impressed by this Barcelona performance per se. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't, champagne football. It wasn't 2011 Pep Guardiola tiki-taka Barca football. But it didn't need to be at the same time. When you look at this Barcelona team sheet, obviously no Pedri. Lewandowski's injured. Dembele is out. I mean, Christensen, one of the best center backs for Barcelona at the moment, he's out. So this was very banged up Barcelona team, not their strongest starting 11 by any stretch of the imagination. We knew this wasn't going to be a pretty game for Barcelona. I expected them to get absolutely thrashed. I mean, I sent you the screenshot of the team sheet, and I said, look at this team sheet. I mean, this is banter. This is jokes. I mean, Marcos Alonso was playing. Ferran Torres was playing striker. Rafinha, Kessie was starting. Obviously, it was just not their strongest 11 by any stretch of the imagination. So I think we expected this to be an ugly game. But this game comes more down to the inability of Real Madrid to really create anything in this match. And it's very surprising because on paper, you look at this two starting 11s, and especially it being at the Bernabeu at home, Real Madrid should have utterly dominated this match. It should have been a very comfortable result. And it was the exact opposite. It was literally the exact opposite. And I think it comes down to Carlo Ancelotti. I mean, realistically, how much more could he have done with the team sheet? I don't really know. But I just don't know what exactly the tactics were tonight. I'm not going to lie. I don't know exactly what the vision was, what they were trying to do. I think they knew Barcelona was going to sit back, and they knew it was going to be very difficult to break them down. But, they crossed the ball 40 times in this match, and they were only able to complete 8 crosses. So if crossing the ball was your strategy, I think you tried to get Alvaro Rodriguez in there a little bit sooner than they did. I mean, they subbed him on very late on in the game. And his main strength is his aerial ability. And I don't think you sub out Benzema, but I think you potentially play 2 strikers up top and you run with Benzema and Rodriguez. I think they had to do something like that because realistically, they were very ineffective at breaking down Barcelona today. Araujo once again pocketed Vinicius Jr. I mean, at this point, how many times do we have to see Araujo pocket Vinicius Jr. before we say that this guy owns him? Vinicius, he's very good against every other team in the world. But Araujo owns Vinicius Jr. He lives in his pocket.
He's
at this
played
point,
two good matches against Vinny.
Araujo
does he win a trophy?
Araujo needs to.
You don't get a world XI
no.
selection for that. I don't think
Araujo needs to start
maybe you
charging
do. Maybe
rent.
they change the rules, but I don't know. Maybe
Araujo needs to start charging rent for Vinicius because he's living rent free in his pocket.
You
play
2 games good against Vinicius.
No, it's not just 2 games. Araujo consistently pockets Vinicius.
Consistently, how many games has he played against Vinny? You're acting like he's had 3.
Last season, this season. I mean, how many times?
Last season we won the league.
That's not
I
the
mean, he
point.
didn't do a very good job last
I'm
season.
saying
Look,
individually, when they play
and
one-on-one individually, Araujo consistently pockets Vinicius. This is the facts. This is the facts. Vinny did not play good today. Are we going to lie and say he played good?
he didn't play good, but
He
okay,
never
I guess
he
we're
it's
blaming the one player,
consistent.
Araujo. Oh, he just fucking owns Vinny now.
He does.
He has a couple decent games against Vinny. Does he want an award? I
Well,
don't think you get a.
that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at one-on-one, the consistency. Araujo consistently gets the better of Vinicius Jr. It's the facts. There's no denying it at this point. And once again, we saw it again today. I mean, Vinicius was ineffective today. Obviously, you could say the entire Madrid team was ineffective, but Vinicius is supposed to be held in this high regard, one of the best wingers in the world, and obviously Benzema as well. And Benzema was a complete horror show today as well. I mean, I don't know what he did in the entire game. You want to, and I'll ask this to you because you called out Lewandowski for being ineffective in some matches, but today Benzema was completely ineffective, and you kind of just didn't even mention him. So I'm a little bit, what did you think about Benzema today? Because I thought he was a complete horror show.
I think they just couldn't feed him. I think the problem was the problem I had with Ancelotti wasn't even really the tactics. It was the team selection. Look, I think before, you cannot play Luka Modric and Toni Kroos in the midfield pairing anymore. That's a time of the past. You can't, because what was happening in the midfield is we didn't have enough energy. They was too slow. They were playing too slow. It needed to be sped up. So I don't understand why he has Camavinga, a guy who is starting to show cracks that I don't know if he's just straight. I don't know if he's good enough. I just don't know if he's good enough to play at this level that we want him to play. And Luka Modric and Toni Kroos obviously are that level. They are that class, but together they can't play together. They're both kind of fit the same role. Yeah, that's why you have Fede Valverde. That's why you try and put him in the midfield. Look, they tried him out at the wing. I don't think that was what needed to happen in this game. I think Rodrigo needed to start. I know he's coming off a little bit of an injury, but you had to put him out there to stretch it out, because it just wasn't working. The midfield was not working, and a bit of that was I would have liked to have seen, maybe Tchouaméni's not 100% fit yet. He came on a little bit later on, but that was already, after he come on, the damage had already been done. Tchouaméni is the guy that you put in there. You want him to start your games and finish them. But unfortunately, he's banged up. He can't do that. So they're trying to have Camavinga do that, which he's incapable. He just can't do it. I mean, he's basically gifted the goal, but that's where it went wrong to me. And they're not able to get Benzema the ball in the right positions. He's having to drop back way too much, getting the ball in shitty positions, and just not being able to be effective. And Vinny just didn't play good. I mean, that's just what happened. I mean, Vinny did not play good. For many of the chances he has, he was stifled. And look, Araujo plays good against him.
I don't think he really created like a single clear cut chance or had a real clear shot on goal. Obviously, Madrid had zero shots on target.
They didn't have any shots on target, but Vinny just didn't play good. I mean, that's just what it realistically it came down to. Valverde was ineffective. I kind of forgot what Valverde was kind of playing. Like, I don't know where he was, but it was just a bad game offensively for Real Madrid.
But I think we've talked about Ancelotti before, and we give him a lot of credit because one of his best attributes as a manager is to be able to change the game with his substitutions. However, I think we also need to criticize him when he gets it wrong, and I think today he got it wrong. Ultimately, I think he made the right decisions in the players he subbed on. I think Rodrigo, Tchouaméni, and then Alvaro Rodriguez were the right players to bring on, but I think he did it all too late in the game. At this point, once it got past the 60th minute, you kind of knew that you were going to need a spark off the bench to do something against this Barcelona defense. You knew that what you had put out there was not working. To be honest, I think at halftime, you should have brought on Rodrigo. I think at halftime, potentially you should have brought on Tchouaméni. Mixed it up.
I was thinking of the same way that I thought at halftime, you take Kroos out, you slot Valverde back in the midfield, you put Rodrigo at the right wing, and just try and switch it up. I even heard some shouts of switching Vinny to the other side, because look, there was no denying he was having a bad match, and a lot of that came down to Araujo, that he was playing well. Maybe you switch sides. Maybe Vinny just doesn't want that. That's a bit of a pride hit that he's not going to run from it. But there's some shit you have to do. You have to switch it up, and that's just a bit of not Ancelotti's a bit of an old school guy. He doesn't really make huge changes within games. I mean, he's kind of like fixed to that, but I think that's where
he's normally spot on with his substitutions.
Yeah, usually he's really good with substitution, but today he just got it wrong. I think, but this more came off that his starting 11 selection was wrong to me. I think that he shouldn't have started Kroos and Modric in the midfield together. I think they're just not what they needed.
And I can give you that. I think realistically it would have been tough. If Tchouaméni wasn't fit enough to start, then maybe you're looking at Denny Ceballos, and I don't know if you wanted to play Denny Ceballos in this game. I don't know if Ancelotti.
Maybe.
I think Ceballos has been playing well, but I don't know if Ancelotti didn't trust him, because obviously he didn't even bring him on as a substitute. So I don't really know. I think Ceballos maybe deserved to at least come on as a substitute, but I mean, I'm not the one making those decisions. I think it's a bit of a 50-50 call. I get your point, but I do think in this magnitude of a match, obviously El Clasico, you want to go with the veterans, you want to go with the experience, and I
I
think
mean,
that's
I
ultimately why
guess.
he went with Cruz and Modric. But I mean, realistically, I just think Xavi outcoached Ancelotti today, and you've called Xavi a fraud, but I just think the tactical battle was won by Xavi, and ultimately, I think Xavi is just proving himself game after game as being one of the best defensive coaches in the world football right now. And I think when Xavi first came to Barcelona, I think people expected him to be similar to Pep and play this liquid, champagne football. But I think what we're starting to see is that Xavi basically he's a very defensive manager, and he just gets the most out of this team in terms of the defense. I mean, he has turned Barcelona into a force to be reckoned with on the defensive side of the ball. They're very difficult to break down. Realistically, like you. It's I mean, not many teams can score against them. I think what Manchester United did, being able to break down Barcelona, I give them a lot of credit for that because basically every other team that Barcelona have played have been unable to do that. I just think Xavi, he's a very good defensive manager. He kind of reminds me of way old Jose Mourinho, where he just kind of parks the bus. It's very difficult to break
He
down.
puts a lot of guys behind the ball when Madrid had the ball,
Yeah,
and
and
they
even at the
were
end of the
very
game.
well set up. Because I mean, there's a lot of teams that can do that. There's a lot of teams that pull everybody behind the ball when they're
But
on
not many
defense.
teams are
But
able to be that successful. I mean, eventually Real
that
Madrid
that and they're
get a
able to just
chance.
set up their defense so well so quickly. As soon as they lose the ball and they automatically reset and they're back in their positions and everybody behind the ball. It's difficult to break that down, especially when Real Madrid's a bit of a more countering team. I mean, we like catching
Yeah,
them on the
and there
counter,
wasn't many
and we weren't
spaces on
able
the
to do
counter.
that.
Yeah,
We weren't
but
really
that
able to do that.
But I noticed this time and time again with Real Madrid today, and it was just they looked slow. They looked sluggish. They didn't really look fully into the match because there was times when Barcelona would lose the ball and Barcelona weren't really able to hold the possession they wanted to hold, and Real Madrid were just slow in transition. They weren't passing the ball quick. They weren't getting out on the run. They weren't even able to find Vinicius, find Valverde or Rodrigo when he was playing on the wing. They weren't quick in transition, and ultimately that gave Barcelona the time to set their defense. And once Barcelona set their defense and they get their guys behind the ball, it's almost impossible to break this team down. I think that's what we kind of learned from this match. It's what we've kind of learned all season, that Barcelona, they almost have to beat themselves defensively. They have to make a bad pass. They have to lose a header in the air or something like that. It's going to take a mistake almost to break this team down. I mean, realistically, Xavi's system today made Marcos Alonso look like prime Van Dijk. That's what it was. When I saw Marcos Alonso in the team sheet, I said that's where Real Madrid are going to win this match because Marcos Alonso, he's going to make a mistake at some point, but he didn't. He was very good today. He looked like prime Van Dijk out there. I mean, he looked like a world class center back, and he's never even really been a center back besides this season. So it's almost incredible to me what this team did. But another player that impressed me today for Barcelona, Balde, the left back. I think this guy is going to be a world class left back. I think we are now seeing the signs that this guy is the heir to the throne of Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, obviously a club legend for Barcelona. He's done it for so many years now. But I think Balde is the next guy in line, and obviously I think he's going to be a world class player. I mean, what I saw today from him, Carvajal could not contain him. He's so good
No, oh
attacking, and he's
God,
also very good at
Carvajal can't do
defensively. I
that.
mean, I think this kid is going to be a star. But I mean, it's one of those things. Consistently, Barcelona find these youth academy players from La Masia who turn into stars, and I think Balde is another case of that.
I mean, yeah, but other than that, that's just kind of sums up their performance. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. Like, it was unlucky. I think it was still unlucky that we lost. I don't think we necessarily deserved to lose. I think there was just more of this felt like a 0-0 to me, just because
It did.
no team really asserted itself. I mean, other than Barcelona capitalizing off a Madrid mistake, which you should. I mean, Barcelona should be capitalizing off that, but mostly it was Madrid shooting themselves in the foot, and it was Camavinga who just got caught napping.
But I mean, okay, so realistically, now we do have to wait almost an entire month for the second leg to happen. And this is going to give Barcelona the opportunity to get Lewandowski fit, get Pedri fit, get Christensen fit, get Dembele fit. So I think realistically, in the second leg in the Camp Nou, we are going to see a fully fit Barcelona. That's what we're expecting to see. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
reports are saying. They're going to be fully fit. So do you give Real Madrid any chance of winning the second leg and ultimately moving on to the final based on what you saw today?
Of course I do. I mean, shit. I'm not gonna even sit here and say that I don't believe they can do it. I mean, this is a team that has always defied the odds, made it the impossible possible. And look, I'm hoping by the time that Barcelona get fit, and then we're also fit as well. Like, look, we had a stronger side. We had a lot of our best players still fit, but we're missing key crucial players in my opinion. I think Shumani is one of our most important key players, and the fact that he's not on the field and fit to play many matches is worrying. I mean, look, I think if we have him, and maybe we have David Alaba or Ferland Mendy back, I give us a very good shot because this is a team that never quits. This is a team that always finds a way to get a result out of nothing. And look, Barcelona have played very well against us this season. They're 2-1 against us this season, but
True, very true.
But there's just one team I don't bet against, and that's Real Madrid. We're gonna go to the Camp Nou, but I think that's a field we can get a result from. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that you come away from this match as a Real Madrid fan and you say it's impossible for us to get a result in the new camp, but I do think that it's going to be very difficult because Barcelona, obviously, we know how good they are defensively. They're going to be fully fit. They're going to be better in attack. I think their midfield will be stronger. Pedro back, obviously, is going to be a game changer for them. If you couldn't get the result in this match, I find it hard to believe that they are going to get a dominant result in the new camp and ultimately get a maybe. I mean, they're gonna have to score 2 goals at least if they beat them 2-0 to get to win this semifinal. So are they going to beat Barcelona 2-0? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's impossible, but I do think it's going to be very difficult. If they couldn't do it in this match, it's going to be very, very difficult to do it in the next match because Barcelona. This was basically Barcelona B. This was Barcelona's B team, and Real Madrid could not get the job done. And whether or not you want to say Real Madrid were missing a couple players as well, they were overall the stronger side.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you were, but I'm saying that overall, Real Madrid were easily the stronger side compared to Barca. And this was the game where they had to at least get a draw. And to be honest, if they had gotten a draw, I would still be saying it was a disappointing result because their team was that much better. So for Barcelona to go into the Bernabeu, get this result, now they go back to the new camp with the 1-0 lead. I consider Barcelona the heavy favorites in the second leg because all they have to do is get a draw and they're good. A draw,
all they have to do is rely on their defense to just steady the ship and get a result, get a draw. And we are going to get to see they do play an El Clasico match in the league between those. I believe. I think it's I think it's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, March 15th, I think.
So that'll be another tail sign of like what could be like a little early showcase of what could happen. And I give Madrid a good chance in that one. I mean, I'm always going to give Madrid a good chance against Barcelona. I don't really mind. I don't care what happened last match because I've seen this team play so fucking bad, play absolutely atrocious. I still remember last season. I remember losing 4-0 to this team and just looking, this team is fucking dog shit. There's literally nothing we can do. We can't win nothing, and then we go around and we win the Champions League. Look, this is a team that is improbable. They seem to relish in the trenches. They love making things impossibly hard for themselves. I don't know why they like it. Like they like putting the fans through hell. But look, it's gonna be a great game. The second leg, it's going to be played, and you know what? It's not over yet. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking hang my head in shame and say Barcelona own us. It's not over yet. It's not over until it's over.
I told this to you off camera, but I said it seems like to me that unless the Champions League anthem plays in the pre-match ceremony, that Real Madrid don't turn up. I mean, we only see what?
Maybe we have to put it in like the headphones or something. They gotta get AirPods in there, play the Champions League anthem to get these guys fired up. Because I mean, I can't even really deny that because the only time we see Real Madrid play good is in the Champions League. I don't really get it. I don't understand. They just relish in European nights and the biggest European stage, but when it comes to getting job done in Spain, they seem to struggle with it.
Yeah, because you go to the most difficult stadium to play in England, in Anfield, and you win 5-2, dominant performance, and you're thinking, okay, now Real Madrid is going to consistently kind of perform like this. They've turned the corner, and then they show up and they perform like this. I mean, realistically,
we draw against Atletico, a team that we thoroughly beat in Copa del Rey.
And they had 10 men, a 10-man Atletico.
A 10-man squad, and then we play Barcelona, who just lost to arguably the worst team in the league. Well, Almeria, the guys at Almeria.
With no Lewandowski, no Pedri, no Dembele. I mean,
they couldn't capitalize, and that's usually uncharacteristic from Real Madrid. But look, I mean, I can really parry this from a lot of things of last season, but this is the season now, and from what I see from this Real Madrid team, I still see flashes of that team that won the Champions League that can still go out there and perform well. So obviously, I'm not gonna say it's over, but I would give Barcelona the benefit of the doubt that they're probably going to be favorited in that second leg.
Obviously, Xavi has said that he believes Real Madrid is still the favorites. I don't know. He's just saying that at this point. But
I think
I
they
have
they
to.
they like that underdog
They
mentality. I
do.
mean,
I think he's just
I
trying to
mean,
play that underdog
he's just trying to
mentality.
play it. Yeah.
But I have to ask you this question. You know that the people want to hear your answer to this question. You already know what it is at this point. Do you still think Xavi is a fraud after what you just saw?
Look, I'll give him. Look, he's getting there. He's starting to kind of get there. You know, I'll give him some credit. Look, I'm not that delusional of a guy. Look, maybe it was a bit brash. Maybe it was a bit harsh. But look, he still has a chance. He has a chance of redemption. But look, Xavi, just get it done. Beat us. All you gotta do, get a draw at home and kick us out a couple of the rate and win the league. And then then we can start talking. And then you have won a couple things. But as of right now, I think he's a bit in that middle area.
The gray area
The
of
gray
like
area,
potential fraud.
potential fraud, but he also has a chance to win a couple trophies this year. I mean, look, I'm not gonna go out and just fully deny that these trophies are nothing. They're a bunch of there's like winning nothing. But I'll give him credit. He came out and had a good game plan.
I feel like every time I sit up here and I say maybe this is like the turning
Oh,
point of Xavi being a fraud, he pulls a rabbit out the hat and performs like this. So
I kind of almost want you to say that this leg is over, so it gives
no,
us all the good mode.
I'm
Please.
not saying that. I'm not
No,
saying that.
I kind of heard you say that you felt it was over off camera, that it was there was no shot. That
I didn't
Barcelona
say
might as well give them the Copa del Rey,
I
right?
didn't say that. No, I
I
didn't
think you
say
said
that.
that.
After Manchester United, I said, potentially Xavi is looking like a bit of a fraud. And then obviously we saw this performance and we were both saying potentially if Xavi doesn't win a trophy this season, besides the Super Cup, then you potentially sack him. But I think I've seen enough at this point to say that Barcelona would be crazy to sack Xavi. They would be absolutely nuts. I think Xavi has the potential to be a great manager. I'm not going to say he's going to be a Champions League winning manager or whatever, but I think it's too early to say that. But I think he has the potential to be a great manager with this club. I think he can win trophies, obviously. I think he's going to win La Liga still. So I'm impressed by Xavi ultimately, and I think this was another performance that, impresses me.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It was impressive performance on like his tactical intuition. I think it was a great. He called it good.
So my final point before we go ahead and get out of here, because we don't want to make this too long of a video
So
here.
2
But
hours here.
gun to your head, official prediction for the second leg. Let me hear it.
I think it's 2-1 and we go to pens and Madrid won on pens.
So you still think that Real Madrid are going to make the final?
I think they'll take it. Yeah, I think Madrid will take it. They're gonna make it super difficult. I think if I were to damn call it to the T here, I think Madrid are gonna go 1-0 down in the Camp Nou and we rally and take it to extra time and then win on pens.
Yeah, I'm not going to give my prediction so that I don't jinx
that's
here,
kind of a good match. I mean, I kind of want to see fucking pens, man.
I would like to see pens, but at the same time, I do want to see Real Madrid lose ultimately, so that we can ultimately see some tears from you.
After so much winning, man, I mean, we have to lose eventually.
I want to see. I want to see some tears. I was half expecting to see some tears today, but ultimately, I guess we didn't get
No,
them.
it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
But ultimately, obviously, what a match this was. We will be making a video with our reactions to the second leg, whichever way it goes. And obviously, what is it, March 15th, the second or the La Liga game of
Yeah,
El
La Liga
Clasico.
Clasico.
We'll be making a video after that. However way it goes, obviously at this point, Madrid might need to win that game just for their confidence sake. But we will be here. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see those videos. Subscribe to the channel. Ultimately, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're so close at this point. We're like 40 something away at this point. So help us get to 1,000. Let us know in the comments down below what y'all thought of this video, what y'all thought about this match. Do you think that it's over? Do you think Barcelona will advance? Do you still back Real Madrid? Let us know in the comments. But I think without further ado, unless you've got any final points you want to say.
No, I think that's it from me.
So thank y'all for checking out this video. I'm Zach.
I'm G.
We'll see y'all next time for another video. Peace.
Peace.